Hey, what's up, San Diego? This is Pamela Wood. I am reporting for Keep It Dago. I'm here with StayWoke Anthony Hawkins, who has a clothing line that he just started in San Diego, and he wants to share that with you guys. So tap in with us for a second, okay?
Yeah.
So, Ant, what is the name of your clothing line?
Stone Diegan.
Stone Diego. What does
Yes.
that name mean exactly?
It was derived from the name San Diego, and also from a San Diegan.
Right.
And so because I smoke weed, and I know like a lot of the people that I know, they do as well. So I was just like, you know what, SD. I'm a Diegan. I'm a stoner. I used to go by the name Stony Tone or Tone Stone, or I was just like, you know what? Let me put all this together and start making this all add up. 1+1 make 2. So then that's what I came up with Stone Diegan.
Okay, Stone Diego. I like it. So, what kind of gear will Stone Diego be put down?
Repeat that.
What kind of gear will you be putting out?
Right now, I've started with just t-shirts and hoodies and like sweatsuits. I'm wearing one of the sweatsuits right now. I started with that because one, I like t-shirts. I love t-shirts, and even because I know that they have t-shirts at Walmart's, Targets, those graphic tees and stuff like that. Those always grab my attention. Every time I go, I'm going straight. Everybody's like, "Hey, Anthony, where you get your tees from?" I get my t-shirt from Walmart. And I'm only paying like $7-8 for the t-shirt that you think, and I'm probably over here paying $20-25 for, because at the mall, that same exact shirt that's at Walmart is $20-25.
Exactly.
And so I started doing that, and I started, like I said, I started just looking at things, paying attention to things like that, and realizing I had a talent for it. And I originally wanted to have my own brand. I actually used to have one when I was younger. It was called Cali Living. And I had a fallout with the person that I actually started that with. So I stopped it.
Cali Living. How old were you when you started that?
I was 16.
16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. That's pretty good.
And it actually did really well, because from my first sale, when I first did the tank tops, because it was summertime when I had released it. When I did the tank tops and all that, they actually sold out within the hour of me telling everybody I had them.
Oh, wow.
I was just like, okay, I definitely wasn't expecting that. So that's pretty awesome. Like I'm actually proud of that. You know what I mean? Considering that all I did was tell a couple people here, a couple people there. I posted it, and that's what it was. When I posted it and I posted the picture, everybody's just like, I need that. I need that. I need that, because they came in black or white, but it was the West Coast hand. But the West Coast hand had the California flag with the California bear on it going through it.
Oh, that's dope.
And then
You
underneath
got
it,
to revive that design.
I'm going to, trust me, I'm going to, because
Put a
I work
slip in his mouth.
exactly. Exactly. That it's all in the works. It's all in the works. And so with that, I was just like, I started making a bunch of designs. So like a lot of the designs that you're going to see from me are actually going to be recreations of what I originally had.
That's going to be dope. That's going to be dope. The one thing that I recommend that you do, and this is from a business standpoint, older sister talking, auntie, whatever you want to call me, but what you should do, make sure you copyright everything, so can't nobody be taking this stuff.
Yes, man.
You don't
That's
want people
exactly,
taking this stuff. People do that.
exactly.
Can't
That's
nobody
exactly,
take my stuff. Can't
exactly.
nobody,
Not
my
going for
designs
it.
are all copywritten.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one. You can look them up at the Library of Congress 8 days a week. So make sure you copyright your stuff. So we got to talk, and we had like a pre-conversation. And during that conversation, you said that you lost your father at a really young age.
Yes.
How does that tie into your clothing line?
So the way it actually ties in is because when I was 14, I started having these ideas of like a clothing line and like t-shirts and just like all this stuff that I was like starting to grab my attention as I was starting high school. And so when I had started high school, I actually started at Lincoln High School when it opened in 2007. That same year, I want to say not that same year actually. Yeah, it was that same year. Yeah, it was that same year. It was my freshman year. That same year, not even 2 months in, my father was killed. And so
Um,
when that happened, it took all my attention away from everything that I was doing, everything that I used to be, everything that I was, who I was. It was ripped out of me. I was robbed of my old self when that happened. And so in turn, I gave up on my clothing line, even though I shouldn't have, but I did. And the reason I did was because I didn't have the energy. I didn't have the same drive. I didn't even have the same focus to do what I wanted to do. I didn't even care. I didn't even care whether I was going to see the next day at that point. So if I don't even care if I'm going to see the next day, why would I care about a clothing line?
wow, that's nuts.
And so later on, I ended up going back when I turned 16, and I started doing a Cali Living clothing line, and then I had a fallout, and then I stopped doing that one, and then I drifted away from it. But I started seeing all these other people started coming up with stuff. It was one that I actually joined. It was called Elite Kings, and they were doing that for a little while. And even with that, I was on the design team. I was designing a lot of our designs that we were wearing. And so I stopped doing that because the guy, he just like stopped responding, and he just stopped being like he lost his drive. Basically is the best way to put that. He lost his drive. He had almost about 10 people that he had as models and that were promoting and that was doing everything on top of whatever he was doing.
Mhm.
So he had himself and a whole 10-player team.
Wow.
And once he lost his drive, the team lost theirs. And
Whoa.
I lost my interest in it.
Whoa. That's messed up.
And so I gave up on that. And so I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm about to just stop doing clothing lines for a little bit. I'm gonna just focus on my graphics, and I'm gonna just do my graphics. And so I started getting better at that. And then life just kept happening. So I started getting better and better. I started making rest in peace pictures. I started making random stuff. I started
A
making
lot of your work in the community too. That's pretty awesome.
so I appreciate it too. Thank you. Thank you. And so a lot of it is actually driven behind pain. A lot of what I've made. So that's why a lot of it's really sticks to maybe like 1 to 2 colors because of where I came from, what happened, how it happened, what it was behind, who I am, where I came from, all of that. So it's like my color palette is very limited, and I'm learning that I need to open that up too.
So what's your
That's
color
another
palette
thing.
limited to right now?
Right now, my color palette is limited to red, black, gray, and gold, and maybe a green here and there. And if it has to do with the Stone Diegan, then it's going to be navy blue, orange, and white.
Oh, still, those are dope colors. I have a question though.
Yes.
How do you have a stoner clothing line with no green in
See,
it?
and that
Gotta have
is
green.
that, and so that's when I got smart with that because somebody else asked me that same question, and so that's when I got smart with it, and I was just like, you know what, if everything that I'm doing, it may not have green in it, but somewhere in here, I'm gonna start throwing it in there, or even I might have a person have a spliff in their hand. Like one of my designs, it's in the house. I should have wore it, but one of my designs, it actually has a hand, and it's holding a blunt. And so what I started doing with that was I told people if they order that and they want the words in red, or they want them in blue, or they want them in green, or just let me know and I'll do them in that color versus my red. You know what I mean? I'll try to personalize it for you, even, and that's another thing that I've done with this brand. And that's another thing that a lot of people probably won't do, but it's something that I figure if you want people to really gravitate towards you and you want people that really have interest, another way that you can do it is make that design about them as well. Yes, it's your brand. Yes, never take your brand out of it, but maybe throw their name on it too. So like, okay, for example, if I put my logo on the back of it, and then I could put like your name like on the front of it on like like that type of way. And
Yeah,
so
that's
that way I basically personalized it for you, and I still get my representation, but with your name on it, if
exactly.
that makes sense.
That's cool.
You, and so and what I've gotten from that is I've actually gotten a lot of great feedback from that, and a lot of people are actually requesting that versus just having it say either just Stone Diegan on it or just a random, not a random picture, but just having a picture and nothing else. They actually prefer that. And so
That's,
I was just like, okay, that's pretty cool.
that's really cool. That's cool. That's showing another brand some love, or just the individual some love by
Hmm.
personalizing their products.
And that's how I also make them. That's also how I show my appreciation to them as well. On top of saying thank you and everything else, you know what I mean. But people want to feel like they're a part of something. You know what I mean. And if I'm coming to you and I'm about to spend money and just keep spending money and keep spending money and keep spending money, I'm a want to feel like I'm a part of this. Not like that, but you know what I mean. Like make me feel like I want to come back. You know
Right.
what I mean? And in my mind, I feel like that's another way to make a person come back is if they can have their name on something you make, you know what I mean? And just let them rep it the way they want to represent it.
Exactly. It's they're the one wearing it. So exactly, let
Mm-hmm.
they want to rep. I can
Yes,
dig it.
ma'am.
I can dig it. Um, so you said that you wanted to discuss the movement a little.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. So I wanted to kind of touch on the I don't want to get too much into the elections, but I mean, how are you feeling about everything that's going on, like with the elections and the community, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How it
Uh,
pertains to your clothing.
realistically, the way that I see it is, we just have to take this day by day now, literally,
I
because it seems like, I mean, yes, we had a black president, and I will never take that from this country. I will never take that or discredit that ever. But what I will say is from him down, from him to Trump to what we have now, everything's been a shit show one way or the other.
I you just really
One
I,
way or the other, it didn't matter who was in the office, it didn't matter what it was about or who it pertained to, one way or the other, that's what it was. And at this point, how much more are we going to keep dealing with that? You know what I mean? At some point, it's just like,
we
okay,
have two
yes,
more months of it. We have 2 more months of it, and I mean, they are really. It's like every time you get a fire out in one room of the house,
here come
another
another one.
fire is lit. Yeah. So
If not,
everybody
it might be two or three lit in that same room. Who knows?
today there were 4 or 5 lit.
Man, I'm
It was
trying
a
to tell
mess.
you,
But
it's a
anyways,
mess.
I don't want to get too much into politics. But what I would like to you're in the fourth district in San Diego, right?
Hmm.
So you're Southeast born and bred.
Yes.
Okay, so you know local hip hop, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is your all-time favorite San Diego hip hop artist?
That's a good question. I actually have like two or three, to be honest. It's not just one.
Top three.
But my top three right now, believe it or not, it's Mitchie. One of them is Mitchie Slick. It will always be Mitchie Slick
Of
because
course, he's everybody's favorite.
when I grew up, granted, my father was who he was. He was from Skyline, this and that, and the third. I also have family who's from Lincoln Park too. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with that being said, you know what I mean? My dad, he didn't really listen to like a lot of like San Diego artists.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get around my family who's from Lincoln, the first thing that they're listening to is Mitchie Slick.
Yeah.
My favorite song till this day by Mitchie Slick is Triggeration Station. That
Oh,
is my favorite song because that is a true Southeast story, in
okay.
my opinion.
Okay.
And then my second artist would be, I want to say Marty McFly.
Marty McFly.
Yes, I want to say Marty McFly. And the reason
I
I say
don't know
Marty
who that
McFly,
is. Let me write that down. Marty McFly.
yes. And as a matter of fact, he has a billboard down in Encanto right now
What? I need to
with
slide.
his album on it.
I grew up in Encanto. I'm gonna have
Yes,
to go
ma'am.
right through there.
Yes, ma'am. He definitely has right there where they where the mosque is, but it's before it. It's right there, literally. It's right there on that billboard that's on top of that liquor store right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there. It's that
Okay.
billboard.
All right. That's so
Um,
dope.
I don't know. I can't say a favorite song right now. Actually, no, I don't have a favorite song by him because I like all his music. I like it all.
But
because every song is different. No two songs are the same. And that's one thing I can say about him is somebody who should be on a higher pedestal than what he's at right now. No two songs are alike. Not
I
one.
was just gonna ask what sets him apart, but no two songs are alike. That's unique for a San Diego artist because we have a certain sound. You know what I'm saying?
And he's a part of one of those people who created that sound.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out of the Eastern District. And
Oh,
so a lot of the slang that you hear in Skyline and in Canto and in that side of San Diego comes from people like him.
okay. So I wanted to kind of touch on the I don't want to get too much into the elections, but I mean, how are you feeling about everything that's going on, like with the elections and the community, and you know what I mean?
hmm
How it
uh,
pertains to your program.
Realistically, the way that I see it is we just have to take this day by day now, literally,
I
because it seems like, I mean, yes, we had a black president, and I will never take that from this country. I will never take that or discredit that ever. But what I will say is from him down, from him to Trump to what we have now, everything's been a shit show one way or the other.
I you just really
One way or the other, it didn't matter who was in the office, it didn't matter what it was about or who it pertained to, one way or the other, that's what it was. And at this point, how much more are we going to keep dealing with that? You know what I mean?
it's like every time you get a fire out in one room of the house,
Here come
another
another one.
fire is lit. Yeah. So
If not,
everybody
it might be two or three lit in that same room. Who knows?
today there were 4 or 5 lit.
Man, I'm
It was
trying
a
to tell
mess.
you,
But
it's a
anyways,
mess.
I don't want to get too much into politics. But what I would like to you're in the fourth district in San Diego, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're Southeast born and bred.
Yes.
Okay, so you know local hip hop, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is your all-time favorite San Diego hip hop artist?
That's a good question. I actually have like two or three, to be honest. It's not just one.
Top three.
But my top three right now, believe it or not, it's Mitchie. One of them is Mitchie Slick. It will always be Mitchie Slick
Of
because
course, he's everybody's favorite.
when I grew up, granted, my father was who he was. He was from Skyline, this and that, and the third. I also have family who's from Lincoln Park too. And
Hmm.
so, with that being said, you know what I mean? My dad, he didn't really listen to like a lot of like San Diego artists.
Hmm.
So when I get around my family who's from Lincoln, the first thing that they're listening to is Mitchie Slick.
Yeah.
My favorite song till this day by Mitchie Slick is Triggeration Station. That
Oh,
is my favorite song because that is a true Southeast story, in
okay.
my opinion.
Okay.
And then my second artist would be, I want to say Marty McFly.
Marty McFly.
Yes, I want to say Marty McFly. And the reason
I
I
don't
say
know
Marty
who that
McFly,
is. Let me write that down. Marty McFly.
yes. And as a matter of fact, he has a billboard down in Encanto right now
What? I need to
with
slap.
his album on it.
I grew up in Encanto. I'm gonna have
Yes,
to go
ma'am.
on through there.
Yes, ma'am. He definitely has right there where they where the mosque is, but it's before it. It's right there, literally. It's right there on that billboard that's on top of that liquor store right there.
Hmm.
It's right there. It's that
Okay.
billboard.
All right. That's so
Um,
dope.
I don't know. I can't say a favorite song right now. Actually, no, I don't have a favorite song by him because I like all his music. I like it all
That's
because every song is different. No two songs are the same. And that's one thing I can say about him is somebody who should be on a higher pedestal than what he's at right now. No two songs are alike. Not
I
one.
was just gonna ask what sets him apart, but no two songs are alike. That's unique for a San Diego artist because we have a certain sound. You know what I'm saying?
And he's a part of one of those people who created that sound.
Hmm.
He comes out of the Eastern District. And
Oh,
so a lot of the slang that you hear in Skyline and in Canto and in that side of San Diego comes from people like him.
Okay. All right. I'll take that. I'm interviewing someone, son.
And then my third person I would definitely have to say is Black Mikey.
Ah, yeah, he gets it in.
Yes. I
Yeah.
haven't I started listening to Black Mikey, I want to say about a couple years ago. And after I had started listening, really listening to him, I started realizing a lot of what he was talking about. I've actually seen some of that. I've heard it, a lot of it, you know what I mean? But him being from an older generation, I still understood that. But a lot of things are similar, but a lot of things are different.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? From his generation to mine's. You know what I mean? And from his side of the town, which is the South Side, to my side of the town, which is Low Africa. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that are the same. A lot of us grew up together, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't know about the San Diego connection out here. A lot of people do not realize that a lot of us who indulged ourselves into that world, the gangbang world,
Mm-hmm.
we actually, if you know your history of San Diego, as far as what I was told and what I grew up knowing,
Mm-hmm.
the Damus and the Parus all grew up on Santa Margarita together back in the 80s and the 90s.
A
That's
lot of
what I
people
know.
from Santa Margarita too.
Yeah, and there was too. And there,
You
I
got
would never
Ghost
take
Town
that.
right down on Grove.
Exactly. You had Ghost Town right around there. You know what I mean? So it was a lot that was going on right there. You know what I mean? And so,
But that's why the Four Corners are the Four Corners because
exactly.
everybody, that's like a place where every
It's a
set,
hot spot. It's
every
literally,
hood ends up.
yep.
You got Taco Shop, you got Green Cat. It's predominantly, it's Lincoln Park, but that's where all the
Everybody else comes over there too.
yeah. I mean, you catch me at. I mean, I'm not a gang member. I've never been a gang member, but my brothers were always on
Yeah.
Santa Margarita and Groveland, and you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it was never. I was always privy to all of those areas. You good?
Yeah.
Looking over your shoulder, bro. Don't be
You know,
doing
I'm no,
that.
I'm just outside, so I'm outside, so
Gotta be careful. Gotta be
I,
cautious.
I don't care if I'm standing in front of my house. I don't care if I'm standing in front of somewhere that I'm safe. I'm always going to look over my shoulder because a sound, you never know what a sound could be. It might just be nothing. It could be a cat. It could be a bird. It could be a lizard,
Yeah,
or
but
it could be a person ready to do something.
I get it. I get it. I'm the same way. I was raised right there. I used to, when I was a kid, I would go down to the Four Corners, the taco shop, after midnight. My mother worked at night, and me and my younger sister were so terrible. We were bad. Oh my God, we were wayward girls. But we would sneak out the house. Me, my sister Chrissy, and my cousin Tish would all sneak out the house and go to the taco shop on the Four Corners across the street from Drink at, get us some taco shop, go down to my brother's spot, threaten to call our mom or just stay there all night unless he gave us some money. And then
Yeah.
we go home, do it all again the next day.
Mm.
Southeast back in the 80s and 90s was a threat.
Yeah.
It's peaceful now compared to how it was when I was.
Oh yeah. Yep, and that's what I tell people all the time. Hell, you take it back to 2007, 2008 was the end of technically gangbanging in San Diego. If you really know San Diego, that was the real ending of the real gangbanging. Not this shit now. I'm talking about what it was
You talking
before
about
what it is
cyber
now.
gangsters?
Yeah, all these cyber gangsters and all that Facebook, yeah, skinny jeans and all that shit. Yeah, no, not that. I'm talking about the dope pushers and the big stay soft, legendary,
Yeah,
that
the gangsters.
that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
they
The
were
people
out
that
there.
we could walk around here, the people we walk around here paying our respects to, and the reasons why we can wear red flags and burgundy flags and gray flags and all the flags for that matter.
Exactly.
You
One of the things that
all
I
that.
really respect about what's going on in the community is the older brothers coming together, being the council in the community, like really trying to create a stop the violence, keep the peace type movement. Like
Yes,
they're
yes.
aware of. I think they've become more aware of the cost of being a gang member.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm
A lot.
sorry, the cost of being a gang banger. Because when
Yeah.
you're banging, it's one thing. When you're a gang member,
It's
You just a
different.
member of a group of men who come from your area. But when you're banging, you're tripping and carrying on.
Yeah, you're doing the most,
Yeah,
and that's what a lot of people don't even realize, that there's a lot of people don't even know that there's a difference. They all think it's all the same thing. Oh, I'm a gang member. No, you're not. You, sir, are a gang banger. I, sir, am a gang member. There's a difference.
exactly. And the other people who don't get it are law enforcement. They don't get,
Yeah,
they don't understand the difference, and if they document you, they take that as a green light to mess with you all the time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that stuff sucks. That sucks. That needs to change. That needs to
Yeah.
change for sure. It's scary because my son, he went to Mount Miguel, and one of the vice principals said, "I heard your son saying blood," and he said it in front of the sheriff. I haven't checked to see if he got documented or not yet, but it's crazy. It's crazy the way they do us. So
Yeah.
you said you wanted to know about the machines, the heat press, the silk screen machines.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have all of those. You know how to use them?
Yeah. I've been. That's how I did this.
Oh, that is so dope.
I did my hood. My hood on this side of my hood it says stay, and then on that side it says woke. I did my pants right here, and then
Oh,
I also did the back of my sweater too.
so you're gonna come and show me how to use my machine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not gonna play.
Mm-mm. No, ma'am. I've been doing this. I've been using these machines for a while now. Cause like I said, I learned how when I learned how to do this, I was actually working in Encanto at a store called The Avenue. Shout out to my boy Julio. Um, he was the owner of the store, The Avenue. He
Yeah.
also taught me how to print my own shirts, how to heat press, how to cut the vinyl. I mean, how to print, how to press. He taught me how to use the I think it's an app. I think it was that was on the computer. He taught me how to use that,
Mhm.
and so he had me pressing up a lot of shirts that said pushing on them. And a lot of those pushing shirts actually went around San Diego for I want to say for the past couple years, from I want to say 2000 maybe 18, if not 2018, 2017,
Mhm.
but till now. um you know what I mean? I didn't print them up for all kinds of people. I didn't have some shirts that I didn't design for him as well, you know what I mean? And he gave me opportunity. I came with a design and we put it in there, and it sold at at the Encanto Street Fair.
Oh,
That actually Smurf, I don't know if everybody know who Smurf is, but Smurf is the guy who owns the Nerd Water
okay.
and the what's the word nerd clothing line.
Mhm.
He actually had a big part in bringing us the Encanto Street Fair back, and
Mhm.
because of that, I talked to my boy Julio, who worked at the Avenue, because that was going to be his first, I guess, his first appearance at the Encanto Street Fair. And I was just like, you know what? Let me come with an Encanto t-shirt. I went, and so what I did was I went and I found an old picture from back in the day of the original Encanto of how it used to look. And so I took that picture, I made it black and white, and
Mhm.
I had it put on the shirt, and so we sold out of it. And so there's people to this day still trying to get one of those shirts, and we haven't made none since.
Oh yeah.
They were only for
My hood. I went to Encanto Elementary School. That is where I grew up.
I'm gonna
Like
have to make one. I'm gonna have
riding
to get
horses
it.
and playing in canyons and stuff.
Yeah.
I grew
And so,
up right there. Right there. There's a house right on the corner.
mhm.
Let me see. You know where the park is? In Canton
Yep.
Park?
Hmm.
There's the park and the elementary school.
Yep.
If you go up to, I think it's 69th or Broadway up to Clobber,
Hmm.
I used to live on the corner. That was my grandparents' house. It used to be a vacant lot and a big house. Now it's two houses side by side. Boy,
Okay.
I had the best childhood. Like most kids would be playing Indians and cowboys and Indians on, just playing. We had horses that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the shirt has old Encanto on it, like the old neighborhood.
Yep. At the old, so what it is it's a picture of an old, those. I don't know if it's the back of a kidnapper van or if it's just a minivan but it's some kind of van from back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
One of those older vans that I want to say that they would do a lot of. I want to say maybe if it wasn't the kidnapper vans, it might be the ones that they do a lot of shooting out of. One of those type of vans that
Mm-hmm.
had the little sliding side door.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's going down the street, but above it is the sign that says, you remember that? I think those signs are still down there, but it's those street signs that say the word Encanto on them. It has that. It's going underneath that, and then it has a 62nd
Wow.
Street sign.
Wow.
And so the picture, and you could tell that the picture was from way back in the day because the original picture it's real old. You know what I mean? And so when I made it black and white, it just made it even older.
It popped.
Exactly.
That's what's
And so
up.
I was just like, you know what? This is pretty awesome. As a matter of fact, I think I got one in the house too. To be,
If
I'll have
you
to go.
have one, send it to me so I can put it in the interview. Just lay
Okay,
it with the voiceover of you describing it.
okay, I can definitely do that.
So where can
And
people get your designs from?
where do I get them? I make them.
So where can like if I wanted to purchase your design, could I go to your website? Where would I be able to purchase?
Oh, um, I would just make one, or I could if it's one that I have that I've already made, then I'll just send it to you.
Okay.
Simple.
So for the general public, like for anybody watching this interview, if they wanted to get one of your designs, where would they go?
They can go to my Facebook right now. I would say Facebook. My Facebook is probably the only place, unless you follow me on Instagram. But I have one too many. I have one for photography. I have one for the StayWoke brand. I have one for my Stone Diegan brand, and then I have one also that I'm doing for my print and press business that I'm trying to start. Because what I'm trying to do with that is I'm really trying to start a black print and press company, and I've never seen that nowhere in my life. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. And I know for
When you say
one
print
thing,
press,
yes,
do you mean for shirts or do you mean
yeah,
for
yeah, for t-shirts.
okay.
And I know for one thing, I know I've never seen that ever. I mean,
I
they're probably
have.
out here. They're probably out here somewhere, but I know I personally, every t-shirt store I've ever gone to that I've seen people pressing, I've never seen a black person working there until I worked at the one in Encanto. But other than that, I personally have never seen it or even heard of it.
There's
And
a brother.
so,
There's a
huh?
there's a brother in San Diego. His name is Dorian Alupa. I don't know how to say his last name. I never could say it. But Dorian, also known as Street Soldier,
Yeah, I know
um,
him.
he had his own shop with all his shirts in it
Mhm,
and did shirts for other people. I don't know if he opened his shop back up or not, but
mhm.
he had a nice little store with a bunch of stuff in it that he all made by him. So it does happen. It has happened. If you need mentoring, he's the
Mhm.
person. Go to him. He'll mentor you. He's a good dude.
Because I was just like, my whole reason behind wanting to even do that is because I'm tired of giving everybody else my dollar when I know I could do the same thing myself.
Good deal.
Literally,
That's smart. That's the way we have to be as a community. We can't keep buying into what everybody else is selling. We can't
exactly.
keep doing that. We can't keep drinking the Kool-Aid, Anthony. We just
I'm
can't
tired
keep
of it.
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Tired
We
of it.
gotta make our own and drink our own. That's what
Exactly.
we gotta do. Anyways, it's been real. I have another interview to do now.
Grinding, keep it real, and always keep it Dago. Stay woke, y'all.